Hello and welcome to I am Thomas Carruthers.
And I'm Jay Reeve.
And today is our third foyer into Lynch. Foray. A foyer is a reception in a hotel. Foray, not foyer.
Foyer.
This is Dune.
A beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the year 10,191. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice exists on only one planet in the entire universe. The planet is Arrakis, also known as Dune.
You are about to enter a world where the unexpected,
many dangers exist on Arrakis.
the unknown, an incredible secret has been kept on this planet, and the unbelievable meet.
I see two great houses feuding,
Where kingdoms are built on earth that moves.
We have worm sign the likes of which even God has never seen.
This is 1984.
Yes.
And this is Dune, which Lynch himself thinks is the only true failure in his career.
Yeah. Okay.
And this was my first watch. And there's definitely lots going for it in parts.
Uh-huh.
And I have to say, this is certainly my least favorite Lynch, and maybe just a bad movie.
And skies are filled with fire.
The prophecy which will cleanse the universe and bring us out of darkness.
Where a young warrior is called upon to free his people. A world that holds creation's greatest treasure.
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
And greatest terrors. A world where the mighty
This is genocide. The deliberate and systematic destruction of all life on Arrakis.
the mad,
I will kill him!
I will love you forever.
and the magical
Father, the sleeper has awakened!
will have their final battle.
Long live the fighters!
I think it's his magnum opus. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh boy. You may think you have seen a film, but you haven't. Oh my.
But we did see Dune.
We did see Dune. The Denis Villeneuve film.
No, we haven't seen that yet. It's
In
not out.
alternate reality, that is the film that I watched yesterday.
Do not show the slightest pity or mercy! Emperor, we come for you!
Dune, a spectacular journey through the wonders of space and the mysteries of time. From the boundaries of the incredible to the borders of the impossible. Now, Frank Herbert's widely read, talked about, and cherished masterpiece comes to the screen. Dino De Laurentiis presents Dune, a world beyond your experience, beyond your imagination.
Yes, we are. Well, before we get into Dune as a whole, what was your immediate reaction to this Dune?
I found it. I was laughing as the end credits roll.
Yeah.
with the beautiful I don't know, the ocean rolling in the background with all the the cutout heads of the cast.
I do love a roll call credits. That is like one of my favorite things in movies, I have to say. I just didn't expect it for Dune.
No.
But it's like Predator as well. Predator has the sort of and it's on the freeze frames.
I can't remember that.
Predator's great. Let's talk about Dune as a whole,
Yes.
because Dune is pretty big. We're recording this in February, but it'll come out in August. We should have seen Denis Villeneuve's Dune by now. I think it's fair to say, not to go on a complete Denis Villeneuve tangent, I believe you're in agreement with me. Just ungodly excited for Dune.
Oh yeah, very. I mean, the plot, from what I could understand, seemed pretty great. It's execution mainly.
Yes, the Dune book by Frank Herbert is obviously colossal and one of the most famous books of all time, and also one of the most acclaimed books of all time, not just in science fiction, full stop.
I got it.
You have got it.
530 pages ish.
Yeah. I have multiple friends who have dedicated themselves to reading it before Denis Villeneuve's film. They've now been given another year.
Yeah.
But neither of us have read the book. What was your knowledge of the world of Dune? I knew about spice and I knew about the worms.
Yes. I had read the first 50 or so pages a while ago. So up to about the part where he puts his hand in the box and he's like, what do I feel? And she's like, hey. Yeah. But other than that, not much. I mean, it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of made up words, kind of like, Lord of the Rings makes up stuff. It's a very in-depth universe, which I think it's got a lot of acclaim for, and is why it's regarded as one of the greatest sci-fi novels. And
it's a series, isn't it? There's multiple of them.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah. I don't think the other ones after it are as acclaimed though. But no. I think. Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about Lynch now. So Lynch is massive in the independent film circles, as we keep with Eraserhead. We've talked about how much Kubrick loved it. We talked about John Waters loving it. Massive on that midnight movie scale. He gets picked up by Mel Brooks and to make a sort of straighter film, Elephant Man. We call it straight, but it is Lynchian. I think in a vacuum, I could say that's a David Lynch film. Or at least make a good guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's bits in it that are very Lynch.
Yeah. So now, and this is the pivot, I think, that of his entire career. Because I don't know what Lynch's career looks like if we don't get this massive failure here.
Yeah, I know. Because if it succeeded, then where would he have gone? I think
it's a weird because it's weird for 1984, but it's not weird at all now, because this is all we do now is incredible director makes two really interesting independent, usually genre movies, or very bleak dramas, and then it's let's give him a Marvel movie.
Yeah, you have your Taika Waititi, Ryan Coogler sort of director,
and we see it over and over and over again. And all I keep thinking is, no, I don't want this. The day that we're recording this, the Cruella trailers just dropped, and I was like,
"Oh, the trailer's out."
Oh yeah.
I saw the poster.
God, and I was thinking, who's directed this? And I was like, and I did it, and it's Craig Gillespie, and I was like, oh my God, because he made Lars and the Real Girl, which is Ryan Gosling falling in love with a real doll, and he's on the spectrum, and that is just one of the most underrated movies of the past 20 years. Just an incredible movie. I think, people talk about Half Nelson being the one where Ryan Gosling, where people are like, okay, he's going to be the biggest star of the decade or whatever. For me, it was Lars and the Real Girl. It's an incredible movie.
Wait, he did I, Tonya as well.
He did I, Tonya. So then he makes a bunch of sort of studio shit, and then he makes I, Tonya, and I'm like, great, I've got my Lars and the Real Girl guy back. And then he makes and now he's making Cruella. Who knows? Cruella may be the best film of the year.
Yes, I didn't understand wanting to skin dogs until I watched Cruella.
if it is like really dark and she literally skins a pooch, I'm in. I am so in.
Just find out the origin of her coat.
Like, if I'm seeing kids getting turned away at Cineworld because they find out on entry that it's an 18, I'm like, yes. Sign me up. What? I cannot wait.
It's the Texas Chainsaw of Disney films.
People, long gone are the days of people saying that Bambi traumatized them. And it's just, Mom. You didn't actually see the deer's head. And then, so David Lynch gets picked up for Dune. Obviously, we've already recorded our Blue Velvet episode, which is our next film. Obviously, thank God, he gets back to his independent roots rather quickly, actually. It's a quicker turnaround than some of these other directors have been given after these sort of colossal failures. But it's a messy movie. It's
very, very messy, actually. Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, I think it's bizarre, really, because the first 40 minutes, I think, moves at quite a nice pace.
Yeah.
And brings us into this world. I think actually the first hour and 10, up until the betrayal from Dr. Dean Stockwell. I didn't learn the name.
Yes, Dr. Dean Stockwell.
And that explosion and that siege, I thought was really, and I was like, oh, I'm actually in. I thought this was supposed to be terrible. And then the next hour is just so truncated and so maddening. It feels like an hour's worth of the Firewalk with Me David Bowie scene, which again has been so truncated and edited. And then
well, that works.
That works. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That really works. This grand sweeping sci-fi epic does not work with multiple montages. My biggest relationship with Dune is previous guest Katrina Unit. Her brother is like diehard Dune guy, and he was always like, the movie is a piece of shit. And let's jump into YouTube comments. I actually thought the film was pretty good. Then I read the book. So this is just a prevailing thing. And it's the classic thing of unfilmable books. It's known time and time again, the old unfilmable book thing. And then they always film, and then they always manage to film.
And then they filmed the unfilmable books.
When people were talking about Life of Pi being an unfilmable book, and I was like, as soon as we get CGI, we're going to be able to make Life of Pi.
There you go.
John, do you want to hear the classic Life of Pi story in the Carruthers household?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what my grandma's review was?
Yes, 100%.
How did they train that tiger? Real story. Really like Life of Pi, actually. I don't know if it's one I ever go, I'll stick Life of Pi on.
I have seen it. I saw it when I was younger. I enjoyed it when I was a kid.
It was a birthday party for me, actually. I can't remember whether it was my own or another one of my childhood friends, but we were like, let's go watch Life of Pi.
I remember I watched Up for one of my birthday parties, and all the parents were crying.
I watched Up on a plane, and Even as a kid,
Mm.
and I'm not I was never really a film buff snob kid, but even as a kid, I was like, this should have won Best Short Film at the Oscars,
Mm.
and then they should have just cut the film, cut the rest. What a shit rest of the film. As I say, YouTube comments. I'd always heard that the movie was terrible and that Lynch also hated it. But when I finally saw it, it blew my mind. The art design alone was brilliant. So weird, and not just another 2001 Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah, I famously, and it's a very, very reductive opinion, but I famously always say that 2001's just boring.
Is that on record on a podcast somewhere for me to listen to?
No, we haven't done 2001 yet.
Mm.
Mainly because I'd probably do all 9 other
Oh, actually,
all 9 of the Kubricks before I do.
I need to watch all the Kubricks too.
Mm.
Okay.
It kind of makes you wonder what would Return of the Jedi might have been if David Lynch directed. I don't know whether it's on a previous episode or a upcoming episode of our Lynch series, but we have talked about the bizarre story of George Lucas
Yes.
positing David Lynch to make Return of the Jedi. I don't think it would look like this. How could it look like this?
Yeah, no, I don't think it would have looked that different, to be honest.
No,
Because
it depends how much the script was set in place by Lucas.
yeah, I think maybe I know the sound effects will probably be better because it's Lynch and he's very picky about his sound. But with all the studio interference with big budget films, I can't see it being like a David Lynch film.
Well, Lucas famously overtook Richard Marquand,
Yeah,
the guy who was directing Return of the Jedi,
I think that's right.
and he just famously, whether it was not completely official, but he was like, yeah, no, he basically ended up directing. And also, it's not just any big budget film.
Mm.
At that point, people thought that was it for Star Wars. It was the biggest movie of all time at that point. I will dare say, it's this huge conclusion. Everybody thought that Star Wars, obviously.
Yeah.
Now it's A New Hope. Everybody thought that was a one-off.
Yeah,
Then,
I remember my dad telling me that when Return of the Jedi came out, there was a massive queue and he had to sneak out of school to watch it.
Mm. Well, that's the thing. Everybody has. We don't have that experience because it's all multiplexes and I say that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
But queuing for movie, I don't know. But I was at the Philadelphia Film Festival, and that's the first time I've ever had to queue for a movie. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm getting a sense of tension and excitement. But
I think I had to queue for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Okay, yeah.
That was yeah.
We'd booked because that was one that we watched at the IMAX.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll watch that at the IMAX. But yeah, I've never done a midnight screening. I'd like to do midnight screenings.
I did Avengers.
Well, this is the thing. I have no major excitement for any of the Marvel movies. I was very fine with my Sunday afternoon screening of Endgame, where the lights didn't turn off for the first bit, and obviously Endgame jumped in with Hawkeye, and everyone was like, "Is this another trailer?" And then there were this really loud group of kids who kept talking because I didn't really blame them. And then a guy on the other side went, "Can you please be quiet, please?" And then their parents chirped up, "Well, you're the one talking," and I thought, "Oh God,
oh no,
oh no." And but yes, and then eventually the lights went down, and I had to sit for 3 hours. I'm not a big Marvel guy, I have to say.
Yeah.
More YouTube comments. That movie had such an impact on me. I was just 10 in 1984 when the movie released in France. and forced my mum to take me to the cinema. Of course, she regretted it after the first 10 minutes. But yes, I'm 46 today and still love that David Lynch's vision of this timeless sci-fi masterpiece. I am looking forward to Denis Villeneuve's vision now. Who wouldn't be?
Man,
Say that again?
that's a nice comment.
It is a nice comment. And there are fans. I really do, I've noticed it's come up even more from
My dad.
Villeneuve. Yeah, does
My
he
dad
a big
thinks
fan?
he thinks it's amazing.
Mm.
Like I told him yesterday I was watching Dune, and he said, "Oh, amazing film."
Mm. It's an odd collection of Lynch diehards, people who like the Dune work, because people are making out also that this Denis Villeneuve Dune is our next Dune, but it's not. There was a TV series with William Hurt, I believe. I've got it here. Yeah, William Hurt played Duke, the dad. It was directed by John Harrison, who directed Dinosaur. No, sorry, he just wrote Dinosaur. He didn't direct Dinosaur. Not much great stuff in his catalogue, I have to say. He directed a lot of Tales from the Dark Side. But that was 4 hours and 25, and that's got a 7.1 rating on IMDb.
Right.
William Hurt plays Duke, as I say. That's really it for stars. Obviously, stars aren't everything, but that's whereas this maybe people don't see this as filled with stars other than us.
It's got Patrick Stewart in.
It has got like every man and his dog in, but we're also adding we can add 5 more people that are in it because we go, oh, that's Jack Nance.
Tom, this has Sting in it.
It does have Sting in it.
For 5 seconds.
Let's go down the list and let's just, and building up to, I think, the undisputedly great part of this. Actually, I think the performances are maybe the film's best aspect.
Besides, I'd say
set design and
I wait, no, performances I'd say besides maybe Sean Young, but I don't know if that's because of the script.
Yeah, she just gets nothing to do.
No.
I presume either it's a bigger in the book or they've made it bigger because it's now going to be Zendaya.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, because I rewatched the trailer for.
So did I. I couldn't wait. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Sean Young obviously then goes on to. Was already. Wait a minute. Sean Young was already in Blade Runner in 84.
Wait, was she?
Yeah, she's Rachel.
What, already?
82's Blade Runner, because it was the same weekend The Thing, E.T. and Blade Runner came out in the same month.
I thought she looked so much younger in this for some reason.
She did look so much. I don't know when they were shot.
I know it took 3 years to film this.
Yeah. So, and then do you know the famous Sean Young story?
No.
So she really, really, really wanted to be Catwoman in Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer eventually Catwoman movie. And she turned up to the studio fully dressed as Catwoman.
Oh no.
And scared Tim Burton. It's a good story.
That's a good story.
So we have Virginia Madison, who goes on to be in Sideways, which is a wonderful movie, and is in this, doesn't really have any roles as the princess.
No.
But she narrates the whole thing, or at least narrates some of it.
Yes, narrates parts.
And I think we can give way to best single minute and best 10-minute stretch, because it really, maybe you can disagree, but I don't know if for me, there was really anything that really stood out. It just felt like one long movie. I was never bored. The movie never let me be bored. I was just baffled and bewildered.
Did you not think cinema peaked with the guy insisting that he milks a cat?
Okay, that was good. That was good. All the worm stuff I thought was really great, actually.
Yeah.
I No, I'm being facetious. There are lots of good.
Those were good bits.
There are lots of good bits, but I think it's more interesting. I think let's keep going through this cast, because I think that's in a way a better way to break down the film.
Everett McGill.
Oh, you're out of order. I'm going to stick with my IMDb. You're messing up my IMDb.
I'm
Jay.
sorry, it's the Wikipedia.
Leonardo Cimino as the Baron's doctor, who is the quote-unquote scary German guy in The Monster Squad, which is a movie I very much like. And I don't think lots of other people do. But they need to release that properly. And what's the other movie he's in? He's in another movie. I'm going to get that up. Oh, he's in a Woody movie.
Dead and Alive, The Race for Gus Faris?
No. This is my favorite thing about looking through people's IMDb's. Will there be a morning? That sounds like a depressing. Cocaine and Blue Eyes. This is great. Cocaine and Blue Eyes starring O.J. Simpson.
No.
People forget. Well, no, they don't forget. People very rarely forget nothing about O.J. Simpson nowadays. But he was like pretty huge in. It was in All the Naked Guns.
Oh yeah.
Then we have Brad Dourif in the
Chucky.
Chucky himself.
Yeah.
In the Ginger group, let's call them.
Yes.
You know what I really enjoy about the trailer for Dune? That the Baron isn't disgusting. I don't like that at all.
Who's playing the Baron in the new one?
Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh, that's okay. That's good then.
Martin Banger from Go with the Dragon Tattoo and Bill Anderson from Mamma Mia. What a movie! Two of my favorite movies. Very different. Mamma Mia and the Go with the Dragon Tattoo. Jose Ferrer, who's also in another Woody Allen movie, as the Padishah Emperor Shaddam. So one of my fun facts is that basically they would give out pamphlets in the waiting areas with all the information that you would need. Your book, I believe you said earlier, has a whole glossary of terms, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Because
wait.
Because those first 10 minutes or so is insane, the amount of stuff they throw.
So it's 21 pages of made up words.
Give us right. I'm gonna say page 10 and the third one down. What random thing are we?
The third one down.
Mm.
Oh, that one's too easy. That's
Okay,
just Legion Imperium.
The seventh one down.
Okay. Little Maker. I don't know if it's Little Maker or Little Macker. The half plant, half animal, deep sand vector of the Arachis sandworm. The Little Maker's excretions form the pre-spice mass. And then underneath that, Mahdi. No, Mahdi.
Mahdi.
In the Fremen Messiah, he's the Messiah. Right, sorry.
How is that possible? He's the Messiah, Schlubby. How do they say these lines with any sort of like? I remember Harrison Ford talking about. Oh God, I can't remember. It was something. It was a Star Wars story, and somebody was like, "Come on, how do you manage to?" No, that was it. It was somebody asked him in an interview for Rise of Skywalker, and they were like, "Do you think you're a Force ghost?" And he goes, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah, I know.
he just doesn't care.
I don't fucking know what a Force ghost is.
How relieving was Blade Runner 2049?
I haven't seen it. Don't spoil.
I won't.
Yeah.
All I'll say is Harrison Ford's great. He's legitimately great. You know what's terrible?
What?
That you know that Harrison Ford's in it, and that I know that Harrison Ford's in it.
The trailer.
That was the whole thing. Was that all of the marketing put him on it, all the trailer, and Denis Villeneuve's original concept was for you to not know that Harrison Ford is in it, and for halfway through, it's not really a spoiler. It's a long way into the film that you actually meet Harrison Ford, and he wanted that to be a reveal. And the marketing and the studio just said, no, nobody's going to come watch it.
No.
Yeah, no. Put Harrison Ford in your movie. Linda Hunt, who won her supporting actress Oscar for the Year of Living Dangerously. She is Shadut Mapes. Oh, Freddie Jones is back. The evil bites from The Elephant Man, and he plays Thutha Hawat. I mean,
the eyebrows man.
The eyebrows man. They're a sort of race unto their own. Is that their signifier? Is that they have large eyebrows?
Yeah,
I'm gonna Google Frank Herbert, and because I want to know if Frank Herbert ever wrote like a romance. So,
eyebrows shone like magnificent beauty.
So, right, Frank Herbert bibliography. So he's got the Dune series, the Pandora sequence, the Consentancy series. Okay. Then he's got some standalone novels. The Green Brain, The Eyes of Heisenberg, The Heaven Makers, The God Makers, Soul Catcher, The White Plague, A Thorn in the Bush. Okay, this sounds like it's a thriller. Expatriate American Mrs. Ross is living a quiet life in San Juan when an ambitious American painter arrives, determined to know everything there is to know about the small village. Mrs. Ross, however, is determined to go whatever lengths necessary to hide the secrets of her previous life. Oh, that sounds interesting. So he did write other things other than other than this tomb.
So I just clicked on Last Dune, and it says it's followed by two others that are written by his son.
Oh,
that finished them.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Are they? Do the fans like them?
I haven't. Oh, wait, I'll see if there's a reception. Yeah, it seems it's successful.
Because that's another thing about this Denis Villeneuve Dune, is that there are plans to make the other two Dune books, the other two Frank Herbert Dune books, anyway. And I just think there's no way this is making enough money that they're going to greenlight another Dune. I'm thankful that we're going to get one.
No, are we not getting two though? Is it not in two parts?
It was originally going to be in two parts. I believe now it's just Dune, and then the next two films are going to be the next two books. I believe that is the current lay of the land.
Okay.
Then we have some real. Then we have some great Twin Peaks stuff. We have Everett McGill as Stilgar. It's just always wonderful to see Jack Nance as Nefood. Then we have somebody who is very excited to see Jürgen Prochnow, who plays Duke Leto Arcadices.
Arcadices.
I want to say it like what do you call it? Wilfred Brimley doing the adverts about diabetes. It was like Arcadices. Arcadices.
Arcadices.
Jürgen Prochnow is just terrific. I love Jürgen Prochnow. I believe, I hope I'm right. I believe I'm right. You'll know him as the woodsman in the background in Twin Peaks. But I believe, if I remember rightly, he's the villain in Die Hard 2. I want to get this right. However, I'm into 1996. When did Die Hard 2? No, not Die Hard 2. I am right. It's Air Force One.
Oh, okay.
He's General Alexander Reddick, who is the guy that who Gary Oldman's trying to free. Air Force One, great movie. But he's also in The English Patient, and he plays the guy that cuts off Willem Dafoe's fingers. Poor Willem Dafoe. Then we have oh god.
He's in A Hidden Life, but uncredited.
Max von Sydow's also around. He doesn't really get much to do, Max von Sydow, does he? I mean, well, I guess nobody gets very much to do.
No, yeah, I was surprised at how little. Actually, I won't get to that yet. I don't think.
No, do it now.
No, I was surprised at how little Patrick Stewart was in it. To be honest,
I thought that. Yeah, he's actually letting out a bit of his Yorkshire roots in his accent. He's Dewsbury lad, and he's letting out little inflections of that. Murfield, that's it. And then we also have, as you ever mentioned, Sting, who I dare say was pretty good.
Yeah.
To say he's Sting, his last acting credit was as, let me double check. He's got lots of soundtrack credits though, yeah.
No,
His last acting credit was as Sting in Zoolander 2. So, and then Sting in B Movie, Sting in the Vicar of Dibley Comic Relief Special, Sting in Ally McBeal, and then he actually plays some roles. He was in the movie The Mighty, which I've never. Is that Sharon Stone? Yeah, Sharon Stone. Two young boys, both social outcasts, form an unlikely friendship. So what's Sharon Stone doing? Two young boys and Sharon Stone.
And Sharon Stone.
That's a better movie. But I think almost unequivocally, and it's no surprise to us or any fan of his work, Carl MacLachlan's marvellous in this film as well.
He's fantastic. I loved him.
He was delightfully shy and naive in the earlier scenes, and then he really grows into a warrior, and you believe him leading an army.
Yeah, and he still has a bit of that edge, I think. Like, especially in the last duel between him and Sting. I thought, yeah. I mean, he stabs him in the throat.
He does. Yeah, the Baron's murders I very much enjoyed as well. They were quite brutal. Let's talk about it more now in the context of Lynch.
Yes.
Where were the moments where you saw, other than the actors that we talked about, where were the moments where you saw that Lynchian style creep in?
I thought the scenes when it cut to the ginger people randomly sometimes, because they were pretty odd. And then I thought the random cuts to characters that we barely see were kind of very Mulholland Drive or Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yes.
Where, you know, that vignette kind of style, pop in, pop out with these actors for a few seconds.
However, whereas in The Return, Mulholland Drive's different, and Mulholland Drive's different because all of those short stories, I see them as like vignettes, like you're talking about, and they're working to a theme. And not only are they working to a theme, every little element of those then gets perverted in the real life that we get in the final 40 minutes. Whereas The Return, actually, I think, I agree completely with the Dune analogy, because in The Return, everybody who wasn't necessarily, I was listening to a lot of just Twin Peaks fans who I think were quite surprised by The Return, whereas I really wasn't. There was a part of me that I think did want it actually to be a little bit less later day Lynch and be a little bit more 80s, 90s Twin Peaks. Obviously, on multiple watches, that is the glory of The Return, is that it's a dissection of nostalgia.
But I'd still argue that the vignettes in The Return have themes in them.
They do have themes. I think I'm trying to say that it's a more clear link to Dune because they actually eventually come to show themselves as related to the plot as well.
Yes. Okay.
bit by bit. And I think for as sprawling and as experimental as The Return is, I understood the plot by the final episode a lot better than I understood Dune by the final 10 minutes.
Yes, and by the final 2 minutes where she's like, and then they all lived happily ever after, narration.
Yeah. And then you've got Jessica, who shows up, this special child, Angel.
Wait, by the child, do you mean, I just found out, do you mean the one in the hood at the end that's like...
Yes, with the blue eyes.
Yeah, I just found out who that is.
Shoot.
And it's Alicia Witt. So you know Kirsten Haywood? Twin Peaks.
Yeah, the little pink girl, Donna's daughter. Donna's younger sister.
That grows up to steal
Yes.
Amanda Seyfried's Stephen off Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, that's delightful. I love that.
Yeah.
It is that family. It's very warm and touching to see all these people, even in the smallest roles. We've got Wild at Heart coming up in a bit, and that's got even more Lynch regulars. And it's like, I mean, that's mainly because it was being filmed during the Twin Peaks run. And so he was like, come over.
Come, I want you, Audrey. Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn. I wonder what his nickname for Sherilyn Fenn is.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably
that woman that kept moaning when she wasn't in the Return.
Well, no. I don't know if I should say that for the Return podcast.
Say that.
Because he ended up changing her role from what it originally was.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Sherilyn Fenn, I don't want to get too much into, her relationship with Lynch, but Mulholland Drive was originally a pilot.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be the Audrey show. Well, not. I'm sure it wasn't going to be, like Ally McBeal.
Audrey show.
But
Billy Zane.
That would be great.
Yes.
I would very much enjoy that.
Yes.
So, Tom's will is specific for I don't have many. I really enjoyed Jose Ferrer removing his cape. I love a dramatic remove of a cape. I also thought, actually, if we're going to do a couple of single minutes, the hand in the box moment is just great.
Yeah.
And that is obviously directly from the book, and it is just a very, very well conceived scene.
It's very good in the book too.
Yeah. Do you have any really and the Lynch cameo?
Yeah. Right. I wasn't actually looking at the screen. I was looking down, taking notes or something. And then I heard his "hello" tone, and I was like, "Nah, there's no way." And I looked up, and it was Lynch.
And he's all dirty.
Yeah. There was that. There was obviously the milking of the cat in this weird contraption.
The cat. Well, that's not a weird contraption. That's a cat milking contraption.
Oh, okay. I'm a cat, Greg. Milk me, right?
Yeah. No. Jay, it's I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's anything with nipples can actually be milked.
Yeah.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? What an incredible mode. Best line. And how can this be? For he is the Kwisatz Haderach.
Wait, I'm gonna have to look at some quotes.
Put your right hand in the box. What's in the box?
Pain. Yeah, that was good.
I'll miss the sea, but a person needs new experiences. They jar something deep inside, allowing him to grow. That's nice as well. But all in all, there's no real stand. I did enjoy bring me the floating fat man. My favorite. Actually, let's talk about that now, because there is the weird thing here, and I don't know whether it was part of the studio thing or whatever interference. the voiceovers that we get.
Yeah.
We get.
Is that because of it being a film and cutting things? Is it the Blade Runner thing where
It feels like the Blade Runner thing.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, oh, he's my son. And my favorite one of those was Sting killing the Doctor and then going, I wish this was Paul. I did actually laugh out loud at that moment. I think this works for this film. I don't think removing it would make it any better.
No. I mean, I kind of get it from reading the book because there's a lot of thoughts going on.
Well, that's the thing. It's a book, isn't it? That's the entire point of that medium.
I think you see every character's thoughts. Like I've just turned a random page and you see Jessica's thoughts and stuff. But yeah, it's the medium.
And obviously that this is a different medium. But it does. I have no validation on this, but it does feel like studio notes. It does feel like cold fish. It as you say, it feels like the Blade Runner narration. I was wondering why he was crying. He had made my life so special.
I haven't seen that version.
Don't. And I'm going to say it. Blade Runner 2049. It's better. Just going to say it, and I did. So let's. I mean, we've touched on it a bit, and I don't know whether really it is anything specific. But what's the change? I just think it's in general.
The entire film.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've got here the CGI at parts. I mean, the Minecraft boxes that you were on about in the kitchen are they do just look terrible. And
yes. You've seen how they're doing that in the new one, right?
Yeah, it just looks great with the little flickers. And I mean, I don't want to blame them, obviously, but also, if Blade Runner's 2 years before, I mean, that Blade Runner's mostly practical, though. So this is the thing. I don't know whether there could have been a more practical way to do it. But obviously, the point is you can't practically show a force field, can you?
Put them in bubble wrap.
that would be better.
Yeah.
But if there was one specific, like, major change, what jumps to mind for you, if anything?
I'd say that there was probably a better way. Because the narration that keeps on happening throughout the film, I think there might have been a better way of doing that and changing it slightly and cutting some parts and filming some of the bits they're narrating instead, kind of rearranging it a bit. Yeah, because the way it is very thrown together. It feels like and just sellotaped with the narration. I felt.
I mean, I was talking to you before about there is on YouTube a full HD 3-hour cut. But again, I just don't. There are some things that just can't be changed here.
The gingers.
Yeah, no gingers. Well, anything? Let's talk about the music now. It's a score by Toto. Of Africa fame.
I like the score.
Is this before or after Africa? You talk about the score. It is great. It's a great score.
I like the score. I liked it felt very, I don't know if punk's the right word, but I like the electric guitar riffs that kind of played. Very 80s.
Very 80s. And then we do have the final by Brian Eno.
Yeah. There was this one tune that kept playing that sounded like some music from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets that I just kept on.
So Toto, this is our Toto tangent. Hold the Line is 78, great track. Hold the Line. Rosanna, another great track. That's 82.
Oh, Africa was out.
Africa was 82. So this is a real great time to be Toto. Which is just a fun thing to say. Anything left from your notes, Jen? No, there's not much to say. A few fun facts. Let's talk about some of this now because there is some interesting stuff here. So yeah, writer and director David Lynch has said he considers this movie the only real failure of his career. To this day, he refuses to talk about the production in great detail and has refused numerous offers to work on a special edition DVD. Lynch claims revisiting the movie would be too painful an experience to endure.
Yeah. Actually, one thing. Did you watch the DVD or Blu-ray of this?
I watched the DVD.
Okay, I watched the Amazon Prime version.
All right, yeah.
Around 2 hours long. And the quality was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a really good restoration.
Well, it is a very beautiful and well-made. Well, no, it's not a well-made movie. It's a very for long stretches.
Yeah,
it is very well made and very beautiful. And we talked about the set design earlier. It does look like a great film.
I'd rather watch this than The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Oh my God. I get started. Sir Patrick Stewart said the suit was the most uncomfortable costume he had ever worn. Max von Sydow said the same, but also said he put up with it because he loved the way his body looked in them.
Just work it. Work it, King.
Work it, Max von Sydow.
So, you know De Laurentiis?
Yes.
Do you think his name inspired Lost Highway? De Clarent.
I think it's a distinct possibility.
Good, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Dino De Laurentiis made loads of big movies, and then for the and then made Silence of the Lambs, and was like, no, that was a huge hit, and he's like, okay, my entire life is Hannibal now. and he spent many years just basically this plot of misery, just tying Thomas Harris down to write another Hannibal Lecter book. As a result of its poor commercial and critical reception, all initial plans for sequels were cancelled. It was reported that David Lynch was working on the screenplay for Dune Messiah and was hired at first to direct a second and third Dune movie. In retrospect, Lynch acknowledged he should have never directed the first one. Yeah. So this is the big movie. They made an entire movie about this other version of Dune called Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. So Alejandro Jodorowsky had originally planned on filming Dune in the early 70s and had listed H.R. Geiger to create the movie's visual style, who made The Alien, the Xenomorph.
Very
Salvador Dali was enlisted to play the part of the Emperor. Pardon me. Brontus Jodorowsky's own son, was going to play Paul. David Carradine was going to play his dad. Orson Welles was going to play the Baron. Gloria Swanson was going to be in this movie. Pink Floyd was going to do the soundtrack. This is according to Jodorowsky. The project was sabotaged in Hollywood. It was French and not American. Their message was not Hollywood enough. There was intrigue and plunder. The storyboard was circulated amongst all the big studios. Later, the visual aspect of A New Hope strangely resembled our style. To make Alien, they called Kurt Geiger and everybody involved. The project signaled to Americans the possibility of making a big show of science fiction films outside of scientific rigor of 2001. Author Frank Herbert openly despised the concepts.
Really?
Yes, mainly some of the stuff that Jodorowsky wanted to change, including making Duke the dad a eunuch and making the spice a blue sponge.
What?
The first movie to feature a computer-generated human form for the body shields.
Cool. I guess.
And this may very well be the longest tagline we have ever had. It is a world where sandworms, 1,000 feet long, guard creation's greatest treasure, the spice that prolongs life and enables the mind to fold space. And it just keeps going. The planet is called Dune. This is the tagline. A world beyond your experience, beyond your imagination, a place beyond your dreams, a movie beyond your imagination, that tagline. It just keeps repeating itself. That's we have now Tom's big question. I don't really do you think the Hodorowski version would have been better than what we got?
I don't know. I'm not educated enough on Hodorowski. I mean, Geiger. Is it Giger or Geiger?
H.R. Geiger, I believe.
Okay, I love his art, so
Tremendous.
That would have been interesting.
Tom's big question. I think I could have found this out. I wonder if this inspired The Matrix with the whole concept of the one and all that jazz.
Yeah, it says on the back of the book.
Oh.
Before The Matrix, before Star Wars, and before Ender's Game and Necromancer, there was Dune. So maybe. It surprised me.
That's true. And we've talked about hearing thoughts. That's all I really have to say about Dune. To say that it's a 2-hour 10 movie and a 500-page book. Do you have anything left to say, sort of in conclusion, about this Lynch misfire? I think it's very hard for us to say because we adore Lynch so much, but I think it's bad.
Yeah.
It is.
I think it's bad too. Don't worry. Yeah. I love all of his films except this.
Except this one. I could rewatch any of his movies. I don't know if I will when I will rewatch Dune. Yeah. Unless I am doing a completionist.
Yeah. I think if it's on at like 2 in the morning and on Film 4 or something, I'd watch it. But...
Yeah, that's a really good shout. That's a really good shout.
Yeah. That's it.
Fear is the mind killer. Long live the spice. Let the spice flow. Why didn't Toto release a song called Let the Spice Flow?
I don't know, Tom.
How does Africa go? There's in time to go away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I let the spice flow in Dune. In Africa. Why did you keep it as Africa?